What's up, everybody? Ibrahim here again with a special interview.
What's up, bro?
Can you hear
How
me?
are you, bro? No, thank you for having me. That's a lovely introduction. Yeah, I can hear you. That's a lovely introduction. Thank you for having me. And yeah, hopefully I can share a little bit of my process. Also showing how what I've been through and also how I perceive college is. Also, people to take into account that I am an international student. I'm from Colombia, so yeah, how internationals also like face recruiting and going
Yeah,
pro
for
and that
sure.
kind of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure that being from outside the country has definitely played an impact on having being far away from home and things like that. It has a
yeah,
whole nother layer of having to be mentally tough and in an uncomfortable situation, an unfamiliar environment.
yeah.
So if you want to start, if you could just walk us through like your career path, how you got to where you're at now, from your youth career to playing at whatever colleges, schools, clubs you played at.
Yeah, so I'll try to make it as brief as I can. Yeah, I have to start like back when I was young. My dad never wanted me to play soccer in a professional level whatsoever. He basically wanted me to be a doctor or a lawyer. He wanted me to be like
Yeah,
anything that had nothing to do with footy. Also, my brother was very talented, much more talented than I am, and he never ended up playing soccer also because of my dad. So yeah, because of my best friend's father, he went to the house, he begged my dad to let me play like academy, not even the highest level of academy, just like let me play, see how it is, because like when you play back home in Colombia, it's a little dangerous to go to these neighborhoods. You go like sometimes, and like you can't really go to these places if you're not from there. So my dad also was like a little bit worried also about my well-being. So was never able to play. Then my dad allowed me to play, and that like I started like playing a little bit. I was playing a very small academy team. It wasn't, they don't have no professional team. It's just a little team that is called obviously football basket, which is like ABC, like soccer based basically. And yeah, it was basically like the people that lived around me and everything. So yeah, we just got a tournament. We went to Bogota to play this tournament, and I was lucky enough. There was a scout from an academy in Spain, and I remember I wasn't having the best tournament ever. I struggled so much the first day, especially because of the altitude. The capital is like so high, and where I'm from, like we're more used to like very like warm, like dry weather, and that place was like more like a little wet, little per se, like cloudy, rainy, and like so high. It was so hard to breathe. So I was struggling a little bit. And the day that he saw my game, he was not even supposed to see my game. He was just gonna see another game, but it got canceled because of rain. So our game got delayed, and the one before got canceled. So he ended up watching our game, and I was fortunate enough to have one of the best games I've ever had. Honestly, scored everything. Yeah, it ended up being terrific. He approached me after the game. He didn't even say, "Oh, he's scout." He would just talk like a normal person. He was from South America, so he was just, what do you think of the game? And I was like, oh yeah, I thought it was like just like a father of like someone, and he was just being nice. I was like, oh yeah. I was like 14 at the time. No, I was 15. I was 15 at the time. And yeah, after that, I just decided, I went home, like tournament was over, and then he traveled to my city and he had a meeting with my dad, and he was like, hey, I want to have your kid. We want to take him to Spain to an academy. This academy has a lot of like international players, and most of the thing is more academy for like people trying to get into soccer, like for like very wealthy people. We have like our first team, which is like kids from like all over the place, all resources, everything, and we just provide everything for them. And so basically, like kind of a full scholarship. So he'll be taken care of, food, housing, everything. He just has to go and play. And I decided to do that before I finished high school. I was 16 and I finished high school online. So I officially moved out of my house when I was 16 years of age. And yeah, was there for a year and a half. Then COVID hit, got stuck there for 18 months without seeing my family. Didn't wasn't able to see my family that much. At the beginning, my parents like were able to like visit me a couple of times. I think it was twice. But after COVID, like it was like a year and a half, a little bit more, I think. I didn't get to see them. And but I play very good, honestly. I realized when I once I got to Spain, because we need to understand like there's so many different ways to play soccer depending on the country. And if you're in Spain, it's a whole tactical game. If you're in Italy, it's a whole defensive game. If you're in the Premier League, it's a physicality plus a technical part. Like I'm not saying, for example, there's no attack in Italy. I'm just saying like there's some basis of concentration. Like Spain is known for the tiki taka, for the passing patterns, for the technical qualities. So when I got there, I realized, oh my God, I am horrible using my feet, but I was so freaking good scoring headers. I remember my first 6 months, I scored like 15 goals, and it was like 11 of them were headers. The other ones were just like ball bounced off my leg. It was, yeah. So I literally just focused. And if anyone just ever listens to this and they just think, oh, I'm just not good enough technically, like it just doesn't take a month or two or three. It takes like a year or more. So yeah, basically I was just like technical things with my feet. Like I remember something that helped me a lot was playing two touches, or also like um, I forgot it, like volleyball, but like with your feet, you know. So yeah, kind
Yeah,
of like tennis, soccer, whatever you call it. So yeah, that helped me a lot from like my first touch, my second touch, everything. Like so yeah, that was good. Then I signed pro because I did so good. I signed with the with this third, well, with the under 19 of a team that was called Extremadura Unión Deportiva, which is the state in Spain that is next to Portugal, so like more to the west. And so I went there. I was in the under 19s. I was like the last year for the under 19s. I was the center forward. Was lucky enough that I started like pretty hot. Did pretty good. After that, I got invited to train with the under 23s. I played my first game like 5 6 minutes, nothing, and yeah, just they didn't call me back because they had like two strikers and like I was lucky enough. One striker got like five yellow cards, so he was off, and the other striker got a red card. So they had no striker, so they had to call me. They didn't even want to call me. They wanted to call another guy, which was a winger. They were gonna play with two forwards with no center forwards. But they literally, my friend was like very sore, and we had like an important game with the under 19. So he was like, "No, I'm not gonna play." So then I was like, actually the last option. So I was like, "Yeah, sure, like of course I'll play." So we had a game on Saturday. I remember at home with the under 23s, and I played with them, and I had one of the best games of my life. I scored a hat trick. It was mental. We won 4-2, and the fourth goal was a BK, and they fouled me. And yeah, of course, I was 18 playing with 23-year-old guys. They were not gonna let me take a PK. But yeah, and after that, like it was like it's big time if you're like 19 scoring like a hat trick with the
yeah, for
um
sure. Can I ask you
under
a question about that
23s.
game?
Yeah.
I just wanted to know because I think that one thing that a lot of athletes, myself included, find very difficult is when you are that like last player picked, you were like the last resort. They didn't even really want to pick you. How do you think that you mentally dealt with that kind of pressure and that kind of outlook on you that they didn't really want you on the field, but they just needed you? How do you think you were able to deal with that and still perform to the best of your ability?
Yeah, so I'll answer that question in two parts, like in two versions. Like me being the age I am now, which is 22, with all this experience, that I would just tell people, who cares? Like you're just getting a chance. Like you're literally getting a free ticket to success. Like this is the moment you've been waiting for. So like who cares? Just do your best. It gets to a point where it's better to just gamble and just try to do your best rather than to like, oh, try to be conservative and everything. But looking back to that day, I remember I was like pretty like nervous, but it was because I admired a lot the under 23s coach because he was a legend for the club. He was one of the players with the most appearances. Oh, he was a captain for like 5 or 6 years. So I looked up for him, and he was like tactically so like well rounded. It was like so interesting playing with him. The way like we played the game, it was so nice. But to be honest, like I will say I was very lucky because the under 23s were like such great guys. And I am lucky for being Colombian because like for guys, like they're like, oh, you're from Colombia, like and like there's all these stereotypes about people from Colombia. So they ask you, so they really liked me a lot. They liked me a lot. So like they were just taking the piss with me, joking, messing around. So when I play there, I obviously try to like I remember my beard very very long, so I would look a little bit older because of course I look like a child. So yeah, but mentally, I was just trying to be in the moment. I was just not trying to think about anything else, especially because you what your goal should be at that point is let me make sure the coach is impressed by me. That my teammates are like, wow, he's actually like making an effort to like see this game out or like score the winning goal or help the team. So you basically that first time is trying to like earn respect because if you just go there and just like basically just oh well I have a 1v1 but I'm gonna like dribble the goalkeeper and I'm gonna try to mag and you start like looking arrogant and like they're probably not gonna call you back if you score a banger. Like maybe they will, maybe they won't. But if you're a player that like maybe you didn't score or anything, but you just died for your team, you did everything, you were such a leader, you whatever the coach said or told you to do, you do it, then your goal should be let me get a call back, let me train with them, let me keep learning. Because the reality is I was lucky enough to score 3 goals, but just because of those 3 goals, it's not gonna set me up for life, you know. So I would just say that just be in the moment and just understand like the most important thing, which is relationship coach and teammates. Because at the end of the day, like if you don't have a good relationship with your coach, then you're not gonna play. And if you don't have a good relationship with your teammates, you're not gonna get the ball. As simple as that.
Right.
So yeah, um, I'm gonna try to move a little faster. Then lucky enough, played another game. I think I scored another goal with the under 23s. Oh no, that was a Saturday, and on Sunday I had to travel all the way like 6 hours to Madrid. I think it was six. I'm not sure, or seven. It's crazy. We had to play a team from Madrid. Yeah, like that year was very nice because I went to like play in Valdebebas, which is where the Real Madrid team trains, and that's where the under 19s played. So I was lucky enough to like play against them, play against the under 19 of Atletico Madrid, where I played against Real Madrid. I played against Zidane son, the center forward. And I played against Giuliano Simeone, Atletico Madrid, which is Simeone's son. That right now
Yeah.
he's playing first division, and yeah, he's doing good. So yeah, then performed very good in the under 19s and under 23s, and got the best call you can ever get. You get called to the first team. Oh my God. I was in all the media. It was crazy. The Colombian Wonder Kid. You felt on the top of the world. I will say that it was like for your because my ego was like, oh, I'm so good, this and that. But I would say it was hard because I had not many friends, probably like two or three, and I just met them like a couple of months back. So we were not like they were not my brothers, and I couldn't see my family this point. So it was very lonely. It was very very hard emotionally. I didn't even know it was hard for me. Like talking about mental health as well. Like I was literally depressed, and I had no idea what depression was. Like I struggled to get out of bed, but like at the end of the day, is that fire that you have in your heart that like lets you like wake up the next day. But yeah, got the call, went to train one day. I remember I was like so cooked physically because I was like playing with the under 23s and under 19s like the whole weekends and training with like both teams and I was cooked and I went to train with the first team and I had to be ready physically and I couldn't even run. I remember like my legs were like cooked, like my shin I had shin splints and everything hurt. So it was good that we had like a physio. The first team had a physio, I didn't have anything. And yeah, I was like, I can't. And the first team coach was like, yeah, you're fine. Like you've been playing so much, it's totally fine. And yeah, we had a game like so that was like on a Monday. The Tuesday, I managed to train. The Monday was just recovery for me, and I just trained a little bit. We did probably nothing because it was a match day -1. And then they sent the travel squad, and I was in the travel squad for the first team, and I was like, oh my God, like I haven't done anything. This guy is taking me with him. So yeah, I we went to the game. We were 1-0 up. We were doing great. And I remember like they called me to warm up. I couldn't even believe it. This is like the 48th minute. He called me to warm up, and I was like, I had no idea I was gonna make my debut. Like I had no idea I was gonna make my debut. And like he's gonna give me like 30 minutes. It's mental. So I warmed up. There's like at the 68th minute, he's gonna put me in. We're 1-0 up. I think it was 1-1 at this point. And he literally coach turns around and he's like, I've seen you for the last couple of weeks. I can see what you can do. You're gonna go there. You're gonna make your pro debut today. Um, you're gonna score your first goal. It's gonna be amazing, this and that. And they say the sub, so I'm walking to go in, and I'm walking and I'm coming in for the captain, which was a number 10, which is such a big like legend. He played in Cordoba, in Cadiz, played everywhere. And he's getting subbed off, and he had a yellow card. So he went to take the captain armband to take it to the goalkeeper. And to be fair, he was being slow, but not as slow. So the ref just told him, "Go fast, go fast." He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna give this, and I'll be out in a second." And the ref had like he was like, "Nah, give him a second yellow, red card, no sub." I was like, it was horrible. So literally, the coach was like didn't even talk to me anymore because like everything, the whole game plan is like completely like thrown to trash. So the second coach is like, just put the pen. Like, you're not gonna play. Just like go to the bench. Like maybe for next game. Like I was like, nah, there's no chance. So I kept warming up. I didn't say anything. I just snaked like behind everyone. And yeah, just the last 3 4 minutes, he saw me and I played. We like the speech changed. It was not more like, oh, let's get the game. Let's just see the game out. Let's just get a point. And yeah, to be fair, very good. I had like a defensive corners, and I just headed the ball out, and yeah, got some respect with the guys. Of course, everyone was very happy with. Everyone congratulated me. Like everyone was like 35, 37. I was like 18, so everyone was extremely nice. And I remember the captain, like obviously was like very serious, and you look up to him because he's played first division for so many years. So yeah, I obviously was not gonna tell him anything like, "Oh, you got a red card now," and he was humble enough that he just went to me and he was like, "Hey, I'm sorry for the red card," and I was like, "Are you crazy? You are 34 years of age. I am a child. You played pro. You have literally records, a bunch of things." I was like, "Don't worry." I was like, "Don't even think about me. Like, I am sorry that you got a record. It was so unfair. Maybe he deserved it, but yeah." But yeah, this is like the biggest part. Then played another game, but then the under 19s were in the relegation zone, so I had to go back, played a little bit, and unfortunately, in a game with the under 23s, I think it was, I had an injury, but like in my quad, nothing major, but it did took me out of the game for the game for like 2 months. So yeah, I was out. That wasn't good. So that like closed my professional part in this team, and like every single game, so I was done. And then I signed with another team. Also, like we will consider professional in Spain would be third division, so it would not be considered professional. But yeah, signed with them, played 18 games, just two starts, but still 19 years of age. Scored a few goals. It was very good. The coach was one of the wow, like he was one of the people that taught me the most. We had a horrible relationship. I mean, he loved me, but his love language was like treat you horrible. He had the philosophy that like you should be treated horrible in order for you to like excel or be like good at something. So he would scream at you. He would like do all these like things that like honestly like it's just like bad. But yeah, thanks to him, I managed to like get the energy from like my negatives part of the way. But yeah, that was good. But after that, I was not making enough money. That is completely true. I was not making enough money that I decided, okay, it's time to go. So I decided to go. I had a friend that was playing in University of Charleston in West Virginia, with Division Two. And to be fair, nowadays I had the resume to probably go to like a big D1 and big time. I will
Yeah.
say I will not change anything from my past. But yeah, he just called me, got offered like a massive scholarship, so I was like, yeah, just get me in. So signed with them, went there for the fall, had eligibility issues with the NCAA, and yeah, after that I decided to not go to sorry, I went to UC, sorry, and once I got there, eligibility problems, and then I just got an injury in my ankle. So yeah, just basically played a couple of games here and there, not much. Scored 6 or 7 goals. It wasn't good, but yeah, just freshman year, being 20 years of age, so like pretty old. But yeah, it ended up how it ended. I managed to play the last games, which was good. We lost in the Elite Eight, um, which was very good against Franklin Pierce. We won the national championship, so that was it was a good start. Then I decided to transfer to Gardner Webb, Scott Wells, big name, big coach, amazing human, and I was like, "Yep, I want to go with you." Went with Scott Wells, first year, rough start, definitely not the year we wanted. I led the team in goals, had like a couple of assists, like three or four.
Yep.
Individually had like accolades as like second team all conference, all tournament. It was a decent year, nothing crazy, but definitely like a like the bad part of like Division 1, because it was more of a learning curve.
Yeah, for
I will
sure.
say before that Gordon Webb, I played MPSL, was very successful, 16 goals or 15 goals, lost in the elite as well. It was a good summer, so like set me up good for the fall. Learning curve. Then we get to the spring. This spring, 2024, did terrific. I managed to get top goal scorer of the Carolina Cup. We won the Carolina Cup. Big teams like USC, Campbell, High Point, UNCG. So yeah, it was a very competitive cup. And yeah, at that point, I decided to go into the portal. Maybe I should have stayed one more year in Gardner Webb, but again, no regrets. And yeah, I decided to go to NC State. And NC State first year again. Mark Hubbard came from University of New Hampshire with no coaches from Missouri State. Jordan Valentine and Drew Hutchings. That, if I'm not mistaken, he came from Cornell. Whole new team, just little base, but yeah, we ended up doing very good. Highs and lows from NC State was I mean, of course, I have to transparent. The idea or the way well Mark Harvard plays is obviously more of the possession that we had in the fall. Uh, because where he was able to like just dominate teams completely, possession out of possession defensively. But once you're in the ACC, like every team is good, and it's not only good. Like
Exactly.
once you play Stanford, like all the respect to Stanford, everything, you're not like the best team technically or like mentally or anything. I've just never seen like 11 dudes run as much as I've seen them. They're so organized, they're so disciplined, they're so good. And Stanford is known for that, for being just very good like defensively, and running and getting crosses, flat 4-4-2, just running up and down. So yeah, you need to like adapt. So this adapted to the best of our team, but unfortunately not the best of my qualities, because I'm not the fastest guy. I'm not probably a lot of things. I'm probably one of the most technical guys in the team. Great first touch, great finishes, headers. But we were just not doing that. So obviously had was tough this season for me. I managed to play a lot of games, just a lot of games, but it wasn't I'm used to being the main guy.
Right.
Wasn't me, but also played with a lot of guys that are just amazing people, great players, hard workers, complete family, completely proud of what the guys did. So yeah, just as a personal standpoint, like obviously would have wanted to have more personal success. Just wasn't my year in that personal level, but like as a team collectively it was. So yeah, it was lovely.
So,
ACC, yeah, please.
uh, going from somewhere like Gardner Webb, where you were able to go from the fall, where we had a little bit of a rougher season, to the spring, where you were able to kind of lead the charge in a really big turnaround for the program. How do you think the difference was mentally for you from going from a really big role at Gardner Webb to a little bit more of a backseat role against Wolf for NC State?
Mm, that's a great question. I mean, to be honest, you don't have to think much about it. Like, it's just what it is. Like when I was in Gordon Webb, I had a major role, but like you never know you have a major role until like you leave. Once you look back, because
Right.
when I was there, I was just like, well, I'm playing, I am doing very good, but if the team is not doing great, then there's no reason for me to think I'm the main guy. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you want to be successful, you want to score goals, but you want to win, and you want your teammates to win, and you want your coach to win, and you want all these things. So obviously, once I left Corner Web, like I knew I had like a big role in the fall, but still wasn't like I would say I was the main guy. I wouldn't say that, but obviously had a big role playing up top in the spring, did all good. But going to to NC State, where I didn't end up playing as much and was more of like a backup striker. I don't really think that much about it, because if you do, then like you're just gonna like overthink it, and you're just like killing yourself little by little. I mean, at the end of the day, you just have to show up every day and just still keep grinding and keep grinding and keep grinding. And in my opinion, again, at the end of the day, like if, for example, we interviewed my coach, like NC State coach, like we had this conversation. Of course, it would be different, but in my opinion, like try to do my best. I think I did my best at so many levels, and the guys love me. My teammates like me a lot for like a lot of things, and I was good for the team in so many areas. But that I think the other players suited towards what the our 4-4-2 diamond and the way we play channels because I'm not like a channel forward. But the way these guys play, like I've never thought I should be the one playing or that my fellow strikers, for example, Hakeem or Donovan, like I don't I think I told them this, like we had a great relationship. I think you guys should be playing. You're more of the fit for this. And they were like, yeah, yeah, it's understandable. Like at the end of the day, like you need to be the most competitive version you can. You don't need to think, oh, he's not gonna play me. What do I have to do? You just have to do your best. You have to enjoy yourself because if you don't enjoy, then it's gonna be like a rough like path and it's gonna be miserable. And just have a good relationship with your teammates because next day, like your teammate gets injured. For example, Hakeem at some point was injured, and I was the one that solved the game for him. And I was playing with Donovan, and Donovan was like, "Oh, come on, bro, let's go get this." If I would have been like more arrogant and be like, "Oh yeah, you have my position. Now I am where I'm supposed to be," then the other striker is gonna be like, "Oh, this guy is a I don't want to curse. He's like an arrogant prick." So like, I'm not gonna give him the ball, or like I'm like, "Oh, just get away." So yeah, just basically like understanding like at the end of the day, like once you like scale up in levels and like competition gets harder, it's more of like a team effort, team consistency, team results more than yeah, more than just a thing. Especially as a center forward, I'm gonna finish my point. Just I am a center forward. I'm more like a finisher. I'm more like a nine. Like the what you think of a Colombian center forward, which is guy in the box, fox in the box. That's more that I am. I'm not like any other thing. Could play outside, but I'm not running channels. Like it's not my best attribute in my game.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and so definitely what you said about like soccer as a team sport, there's 11 guys on the pitch. You can't have the mentality where it's like all about you all the time.
Yeah, I know. I mean, at the end of the day, like you also like you wake up with these guys every day, and you have to you make jokes with them, you eat with them. It's also guys, for example, from United States, from South Africa, from Portugal, from I don't know. It's people from everywhere, and they have the
Yeah,
same dream as you. And if you put like your personal success over the team, it's not also bad, and it's like you won't have the relationship. It's also like not good as a human. Like at the end of the day, I strongly believe like you get rewarded for like being a good person. And like for example, when there was other forwards playing before me, I was happy for them. I wish you guys the best. At the end of the day, as a center forward, I will say this, and I stand on my days. I don't wish, for example, my competition to perform bad. I just wish I perform better. And there's a
right.
big difference in that because if I we have a saying back home that is we tell this to people. I hope whatever you wish for people, God multiplies that for you. So if you wish bad things for people, then like you just deserve that and 10 times more. But if you actually genuinely like wish the best for the guy working next to you, behind you, or in front of you, then you will be rewarded. Like yeah,
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure that it's also definitely a good lesson to learn because if correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Kim Karimoko was selected for the draft, and so it's definitely very inspiring and challenging to be in an environment where there's players who are of that quality to be able to get drafted to the MLS and stuff.
yeah, 100%. Like I talked to Hakimi, and Hakimi got drafted by DC United, and I was talking with him. I was like, Hakimi, like you're young, like you have everything. Like just go there. He's 19 years of age. Just go score 6 goals. Like you're not even gonna play the MLS anymore. You're going to Europe. So yeah, I don't think he's coming back to state. I think he's gone. And yeah, I mean it's inspirational to see like a guy so young but like so gifted. The only thing I would say to Hakeem is stop playing center forward. He's not a center forward. He's a right wing. If he
Yeah,
will play right wing, oh my god, he will be the biggest nightmare ever. He's so talented. But yeah, great guy.
yeah, and you mentioned a part of it. What I got from that was that you really had to learn to embrace the journey and just the work of it and learning to improve yourself consistently. So I wanted to ask you, what lessons in your life and how did you learn those lessons that taught you that work ethic and that discipline, and why you continue to push yourself so hard for success?
Mm, I will say, um, you don't realize. So there's a beautiful quote that my brother always used to say, which is the best thing about making history is that you never know when you started doing it. So even for example, you doing this or you playing Yuko or you like going away, that's if you make history, you already started doing it. So the thing about like tough moments and developing these things and how I developed them was like having no clue. As I told you, there was a time that I was like struggling a lot mentally. I had no, didn't have my family. Had like yeah, like humans need love. They need like hugs. They need someone, and I just didn't have anyone in my life. So I had like a lot of voids in my life. Like I had to like figure out a lot of things as the way I was walking because I was say 16 years of age, already living by myself and completely alone against the world. No money, no nothing, just me, God, and myself. It was just that. So you don't really know once you do this, but like looking towards the word success is a very interesting word because success is not being a professional soccer player. Success is not being millionaire. My definition of successful is being wealthy, being wealthy in health, being feel like in love with your partner, love with your mother, with your parents, with your siblings, with your friends, being able to be humble, being able to help people. So the definition of success, as I would define it, and how my parents like taught me was serve to the people and always have like that like a morality inside of you guide you to all these things. So looking how my mental strength, like I never knew I was doing such a hard effort. My parents were like, "Oh my God, you're doing such a hard effort," because there was times that, for example, the Extremadura, this team doesn't exist anymore, and the reason is because they went into bankruptcy. So, for example, they owe me to this day a lot of money, and there
Yeah,
was a time that we couldn't even eat because they didn't had food. And the guys that cooked there, they were like, guys, we haven't seen a dollar or like a euro the last 3 months. We like need money to feed our families as well. We can't even feed you, So it was all these hard moments that I was like, oh freak, like I'm just not gonna have lunch tonight or today or have dinner tonight. Or for example, with our water filter got broken, so there was no water where we lived, so we had to go to the store to buy water. Like I never knew that was such a big effort and hard things I was doing, but you just walk through life and you just try to do your best. You just wake up and if it's for example like I'm running right now, I'm doing trying to like a 10K under like 5 minutes and everything, and the only thing that allows me to like understand like for example I feel pain or I want to stop or what am I doing? I should be resting. I should be working. I should be doing other things. Is stop thinking so much. Stop trying to make everything perfect. Everything makes sense to be motivated. Just turn your head off and just keep walking. My dad always says, keep walking with the hand of God next to you. Because reality is life. It's you just walking and it's all cloudy and fog and you can't even see what's next step. You can only see the next 3, 4 feet. So you just have to walk with faith, but you can't stop because of anything. You just have to keep walking. So everyone without a doubt, you, me, the person I'm gonna see this, everyone struggles with stuff. So the only thing I would tell you is turn your head up, stop thinking, stop doing so many things. If you need help, always obviously like reach out for help. But the mental mindset is force yourself to do things. So for example, just be like, okay, I'm gonna do this, do it. And once you're like, oh, I don't want to do it anymore, just stop thinking, I don't want to do it. Don't think I want to do it. Don't think anything. Just do it. I know it sounds so like intuitive and so oh it makes sense. Then why doesn't everyone does that? Because it's hard to turn your head off, which is like the hardest thing. But once like for example when you do ice baths, the reality is with ice bath you want to get out. Your brain is literally shutting down. You're secreting a lot of like hormones and enzymes your liver. Like you're like, what is going on? But the only thing that is happening is you're telling your brain, just get through it, get through it, get through it. And once you finish the ice bath, which was 3, 4 minutes, you're successful because you dominate yourself. You're a better version of yourself than you were before that. Being successful is not making your pro debut or having 10 million. Being successful is being the best person you can be. The reality is, in my philosophy and seeing the people that in my family and like in other areas of sports that are successful is because they can and they were able to be the best versions of themselves. So that's how I will define success slash making it through things first. Yeah.
So what I was saying was basically success might be defined as one thing for another person, but something else for a different person. It's just super subjective, and people always have the issue of comparing their success to one another. Like you see someone, for example, who's like Hakimi getting drafted at 19. Someone might see that and be like, "Oh, I'm 19. Why am I not getting drafted?" As opposed to just looking at what they have now and working on what they need to work on with what they have.
Yeah, and just like a little comment from what you said it perfectly. The thing is, like, if you're jealous of people, then like you don't compare yourself with anyone. Don't compare yourself. Every single process is perfect. If we want to talk, for example, you and me are center forwards, and Hakimi, for example, plays center forward. The reality is, I can't compare myself with Hakimi because I was playing pro when I was 18. Now I'm not, and probably now I don't want to do it anymore, and I want to be successful in other areas in my life. The reality is, you look at Jamie Vardy, for example, he won the Premier League, top goal scorer, unbelievable center forward, like unbelievable. Like at some point, top five in my opinion, center forwards in the world, in my opinion. But he made his like Premier League debut when he was like 27. He was working construction like at 23 and 24.
Yeah,
Guy had played like low league football, like so if he would be comparing himself, for example, with Hakim, Jamie Vardy, or with Leo Messi, then like he's not helping himself. Everyone needs to understand that I have to do the best version of myself and just work on me. Don't look outside. The work it has to be done inside. Yeah, and I will just say one more thing. One coach always said to me, if you actually do your best in footy, you will always be rewarded because there's so many options. You could be a player, you could be a coach, you could be an agent, you could be a physio. You have an unlimited million opportunities. You can get a finance degree and just work in a team in your city. You can do a million things. The reality is, footy has opened so many doors for me. And I know that even when I retire, which might be near next year or 2 years or 5 years or 10 or 15 or 20, I will live until the rest of my days thanks to the gifts soccer has given me and tools and skill sets and everything, abilities, everything.
yeah, for sure. That's a great way to end our interview. I also wanted to mention it because what you said about always just turning your head off and just working and moving towards your goals and stuff like that is just a quote that I would always think about when I'm working towards my goals. Is if you walk towards the sun, the flowers are going to grow behind you, which is something that I think could be a very good representative of not only the legacy but the impact you left on a lot of people over at Gardner Webb, people who have been able to still see the hard work that you put in and you transferred out to a high level program and things like that. And so that's something I just want to share with not only you but the community whoever watches this.
Yeah, bro. Thank you so much. Yeah. At the end of the day, like I will just say, like Corner Web, like it's gonna be a big, big program in the next few years. Like winning the Big South this year and everything. Like you're doing something special right there. And I, even though I was not there when they won the championship, the Big South Championship, I will always be the proudest person ever because I was there in Scott Well's first year, and even though it wasn't the most successful one, it was the first year. So we always be successful. Feel successful for being part of that program. Yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you, bro,
certainly.
for so much. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming on, man.
All right. Thank you, bro. See you.
See you. Yeah, guys. So that is it. Just a great conversation with a great person. So if you want to learn from that, take notes. If you want to take any lessons from that, share them in the comments. Thank you for watching. Keep climbing your mountain.